Welcome back to a brand new video, and this is the live lesson series. Okay, we've got a treat today. We've got Richard shooting around mid-80s as his average right now, but some big issues in the game. It's getting a little bit shorter, it's getting a little bit weaker, and the ball keeps going out to the right. So, part two. Right, so we're on the golf course. We're on the 8th hole here at Mottram Hall. This is probably one of my favourite driving holes, this. Only because it's tough. Like, bunkers down the left. There's that tree on the right that in the summer it's like a lot bushier and just sucks your ball into it. Okay, so grip last time was a big thing, wasn't it? Grip,
definitely.
posture. So let's just get your hands on that golf club right now, how we had it new grip. So how we're going to hold it right now. So a bit stronger in the glove hand. Just make a few practice swings. Give us a bit of a feedback on how does that feel, because it's going to feel a little bit stranger, isn't it, to you? It's going to feel a little bit, well, the word would be new.
Completely new. Hopefully new and improved.
That is the golden nugget moment. Okay, so let's hit one or two away. Okay. I want to get a few videos on these two. We'll go through the same process we did last time, where we'll have a look at the video, see how that's reacting, what data we get in, how's the ball reacting, because just to remind people, if you've not watched the first video, it was that weak and right shot, which was a key thing, wasn't it? What we're trying to improve.
Game killer, yeah.
That lack of distance, and with the irons, when we change that grip, so go and watch that after you watch this, you'll bring it together a little bit more, is that grip just got us squaring that club face up a little bit more, didn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so Richard, just hit a couple away for me. Beauty strike. Proper hit that.
Yeah.
Really nice. Throw a blanket over them.
That's good dispersion.
Yeah. So, that's magic straight away, isn't it? Straight away, we're seeing the balls fly straighter.
Yes.
And a lot closer to where we want them to go. And brilliant. Look at your club face here. 2.9 degrees to the right. Okay. So better than like the 12, 13 we had on the driver videos. Okay, there's one thing I want to look at here though, is I know we can't quite see the screen because of the light there, but this number of club path. The reason why that ball's starting a little bit left, and you alluded to this on sort of our first lesson, was sometimes that you hit a bit of a pull.
Yes.
Okay, so that comes when, imagine it this way, like I'm swinging straight towards that bunker, my club face and club path are the same, the ball would go straight on a centered hit. If you get a little bit off center, it will do some of the things, like toe might draw a little bit more, heel will be a bit weaker out to the right as a right-handed player. But if you're swinging a little bit left, right, and now your club face is matching that closer, i.e. those two shots, they're going to feel great, but just be a little bit pulled. Now, they're very, very playable, but if we want to take the upper peg again, so improve this further, let's have a little bit of a look at these together. We need to improve that club path. Yeah. So the direction which that sort of club is swinging into impact. So, there's the two the same. Let's bring up the two videos. Right, so let's have a look at this here. So first off, we need to look at our driver setup. Ball position, brilliant, we're happy with that. The one thing I'd like to see here is though, what do we think to our shoulders, our address position?
Scrunch around.
Yeah, they're a little bit scrunched around, but actually that's a massive improvement from first lesson, when they were really scrunched over. But what I want you to look at here is sort of, one, the direction. They look like they're pointing a little bit left, and we've not got enough shoulder tilt for my liking.
No.
So when we got driver in our hand, we want to be a little bit more this way. Now if we've got an iron in our hand, we don't want to be as much. But if we're looking at just as a driver setup, that's one of the improvements that I'd really like you to make, and we'll talk through that. But let's talk through general mechanics here and what we're seeing. Okay, left side of the screen first. Pretty good turn to the top. We get this turn and move across. Okay, but have a look at it from this direction. It all is a little bit, if I stood here like this, it's all a little bit this way. Now anytime I'm like this, and if I showed everybody from this aspect, right, I've almost turned everything so much, then if I bring upper and lower across at the same rate, where's this club going to work?
Going over the top.
Yeah, so if we watched you sort of this here, the only place it can go is a little bit over. Now, it's not a lot. We can definitely improve this, but it's more than we would like it to be, which is why that ball's going to start a little bit left of target. So the question is, how do we improve it? So what I want to think about here is, as we move in the backswing, can we feel as though we don't get the club as laid off and this right leg is straight? So it's not as like this. So it's not as like this. Would be a little bit more in this space. Okay. To allow us to work more in this space and then release it through. But let's just think about this a little bit slowly. We don't have to go straight into the deep end. So just address that T-peg for me. What we're trying to say here is, like if you just address it, imagine the ball's there. We've just got a little bit sort of like this. So as you move down, everything's just working as a unit out together. Yeah. Okay. So if I take that club off you a second, do a bit of a trade, just stand there for it, so you'll be able to see this. We want it to be a little bit more this way, because then it allows us to work it more in this way and release through this space. Right. If I exaggerate, if I'm here, I'm going to be more like this. Yeah. Okay, so just jump in there for me. I'm going to give you some feelings to work through. So we want that right leg to lose a bit of flex, right? But not lock out. Not lock out, so we don't want this. Because then it's going to be very, very hard to separate on the way down. Okay, so just turn those hips a little bit. I'll control the club. Brilliant. See that? Now that right leg's lost a little bit of flex. Yeah. But not locked out. This club has opportunity to then work in this space. Now have a look at this now. Where your shoulders pointing? Over there. Where your hips pointing? A bit more to target than your shoulders? So we've got a bit of separation there. Yeah. So shoulders this way, hips that way. Now if you're throwing a rugby ball, we could throw it through that space, couldn't we? Yeah. That's a lot different, isn't it? Completely. Okay, just make a few practice swings for me. And I don't want you to think about this complicated. What I want you to think about this is just a bit of a feeling where you control the legs a little bit better in the backswing and you prepare it a little bit better on the way down. So just give me your version slowly of what we just did there. Great, brilliant. Down, start it down. Good, release it through that right. Good. Right, you're going to be amazed at this. Look at this. Now, I appreciate, right now we're comparing sort of apples and pears because it's not an actual shot, but we've got to start somewhere, right? And in the past, maybe because you've not got this right, it's because you've thought maybe just downswing all the time. Yeah. Whereas actually, prepare the club a bit better chance of dropping it in. Okay, so watch this. Watch the left side of the screen. This was sort of us on before. Very laid off, flattened shoulders, straight right leg. You're loads more in posture here on the right now throughout the whole backswing. Look at the difference in that. Completely Look at the gap in the legs. Yeah. Right, okay. Watch how you start down here on the left. Watch how you start down here on the right. Look at the difference in the exit to the exit. Completely different. Okay. So that's different grade of that, as we say in Manchester. So can you really see the difference in what you did there? Yes. So if I sort of summarise that, and again, this might be a bit more complicated than what we've said in the past, the sort of just grip changes, but we're a little bit more in posture through the backswing, not locking this leg and standing up, and then that doesn't cause us to be this way. We're getting in a situation where our right leg's got a little bit more flex in it, to then allow us to work the club in this way. Because if we come in and start our downswing with some separation, so my shoulders out right, my hips more to target, I have the opportunity to hit more in to out, or less out to in. Yes. And that's all I want you to think about it. If you still swing, right, a little bit out to in, I don't see that as an issue, just toning that down a little bit. Okay, have a few more practice swings for me and give me some feelings, because this is very valuable for you to take away is, what did I feel to achieve it? It was, like, if I go back to what I was doing before, yeah, it was like throwing the club round. Yeah. Whereas now, it's bringing it up. Yeah. And then down. Good. So you really feel like you're dropping it in here. Yeah. Brilliant. That is what I want you to think about it. So in before, it's like over here. Now it's more up and in.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about it. Like if you were tracing, imagine like a sparkler. I want your sparkler to tell this story, not
Yeah.
this story. Right, should we get a few?
Yes.
And bear in mind, right, I wouldn't expect anybody to make a massive change in this straight away, but I think this is something that you go away with and really, really work on. So like, and I think when anybody comes through any lessons or does anything like this, you've got to understand, right, the information that you're getting, if you improve there and then, that's brilliant. And like we saw in lesson 1, because it's a bit of a smaller change,
Yeah.
but when you're changing like a sequence of events, which we're trying to do now, we're trying to change a sequence from being this way to this way, to being more here to here, these things unfortunately take a little bit longer. But if we want to improve our game and think a little bit more long term, consistency, a bit more distance,
Definitely.
well, this is our route.
Yeah.
Okay, give it a rip for me. Nice and confident. Don't worry too much about it. Just be nice and relaxed with it. Oh yeah. We've seen a few just start right and go right, and that's simply because now we're swinging much straighter, but we've not quite squared that face up. You said you played rugby, right?
I did, yes.
So if you wanted to really put loads more rip and spin on it, but throw it like this.
You bring the right hand over.
Right, okay. Now you can do this because we're working it through here and through this space, not through this space.
Yeah.
Let's go on, exaggerate it. Let's see how much you can do. And this is all when you're going away and practicing this is what I want you to play around with. Golf's a game of bringing these equilibriums in, right? And you were too much one way, now we're trying to get it back the other. Okay, so really, right shoulder back a bit more. There we go, throw your rugby ball out to the right. There we go. Nice and relaxed. Go on, give it a rip. Okay, that is our hit.
Yes.
Well, that's different gravy. How did that feel?
A lot better.
Okay, so if we summarised your lesson notes right now with driver, right? And this is what I want you to think about it. I want you to think about, number 1, you're going to get a bit more of a turn where you don't lock out this right leg.
Okay.
And all you're going to simply feel is you're going to throw a rugby pass out to the right. Simple as that. So I know it's a bit more complicated than that. And if we just get you in there again, just address the, imagine the ball there. That's a really nice hit, that, wasn't it?
It was.
I was thinking then, that was really, really nice. And you swing to the top for me and pause. So really pay close attention to this bit. Swing to the top and stop. This is the key thing. If you don't separate and move everything together, look where that club goes. We throw a rugby ball left.
Exactly.
Go back to top again. If we separate where hips open but shoulders work this way, look where I can now throw my rugby pass through that space towards target.
Yeah.
Or maybe feels a little bit right of target. Okay, fab. Honestly, that was awesome.
If only golf was that simple.
Well, but do you feel like you got something to go and practice there?
Oh no, definitely.
So,
Definitely.
key thing is, we want to use that with irons and with driver. Just remember the setup with driver. Not shoulders open, shoulders back, and this way. But that's awesome.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you so much for coming down. That is the end of episode 2. Remember, we've done irons, so do go and check that one out. We talked through the grip changes and how we actually affected how we control the club. We've then brought this into lesson 2, which has given us a bit more path control and face control through this release. And finally, we're going to look at some short game. So do stick around. The live lessons will be back again next Sunday. So don't forget to tune in then to see the final part of Richard's lesson series.